Welcome to the Husk Guys Podcast.
What is up, Husker Nation? This is Andrew with Husk Guys, representing Husk Guys and HuskGuysStore.com. I am going solo tonight because Dave is in an eternal state of depression after the last loss. He doesn't take losing very well. It's okay. It's one of his faults. It's all right. We all have them. But we're going positive vibes only. Check out HuskGuysStore.com. Check out for the positive vibes merch, any other cool merch that you see, including my good life stuff. I'm just starting to go broad. It's just Nebraska centric, baby. It's always Nebraska all the time. But this is a tough one. This was a tough one to take, guys, and we got a lot to get through, a lot to get off of our chests here. Please comment. Solo podcasting is not something that I ever thought was in my future, but here we are. We're doing it. We're going to get through it. Got some things to get off our chest here. So, instant emotions following the USC game. Let's just start there. Instant emotions were kind of that of confusion this time around. I don't know about everybody else here, but I didn't think we played awful. There were some bright spots. It was like, holy cow, these Black Shirts defense has turned up. EJ is running rampant on them. I, at one point, felt like there was no way we were going to lose the game. The offensive line was opening up holes. They only had like a handful of sacks, less than 3, I believe. Jaden Mayava was just lost. I mean, absolutely lost, and went 9 for 23 on the day. There were just things that I was like, there's no way that if USC completes less than 10 passes, throws for under 150 passing yards, there's no way they can win the game. And props to them, they did. I was confused. I was just a little torn up. Obviously, losing Dylan Hurts changed the whole trajectory of the game. Latif, a little bit of a deer in the headlights. Not his fault. Not exactly a moment as the backup QB or planning on being thrown into, but didn't really look ready. But I think this week's going to be different, and I'll kind of get into that. Some impressive stats from the day, I thought overall kind of did show up. Dylan, give him his flowers here. A lot of mixed reviews out there. I don't blame people for feeling, super low on his year as a whole after that. He completes 10 passes, was only 91 yards. We never really stretched the field entirely. He hit a couple of medium level passes, I guess, second, third read, but just never really hit those deep shots again. And that's kind of been, people have been dogging him all year for that. But here's the deal. When you've got one of the top recruits in the country, I think before the season, if you told me, or if anybody told you that Dylan would be 20th in completions, 4th in completion percentage, 36th in pass yards, he's at 2,000 through at this point in the season. He is at an 18-6 touchdown to interception ratio, and he's 21st in the country in QBR. I think you'd say, okay, Dylan was that's what we paid for. He's having a good season. He's leading us to victory. That's a better touchdown interception ratio. He had 3 one-score wins under his belt. That's like the most we've had in almost a lifetime. I swear to God. You got a pretty good season out of Dylan. You got an upward trajectory. I don't think we quite got the massive sophomore leap that everybody was hoping for. But he's done now. He got us some wins that we would not have otherwise gotten. End of story. This team is absolutely different without him. I think we are handicapped in some ways without him. But I'm excited for Latif. He's going to bring a whole new dimension to the game. He's going to bring his legs. I am salivating at the thought of like Pat White and Steve Slayton offenses under Daniel Holgorsen, and thinking of TJ Latif is like, maybe he's just got this little, I don't know, maybe he's got a little shimmy to him. Maybe he's got a little bit of that water bug action and people just can't keep up. He's like that quintessential college QB that is just kind of elusive and dangerous with his legs and can be a threat at any time. So maybe he's got a specific playbook that has been waiting, that we've been kind of waiting to unleash, that we weren't able to with Dylan. On the other side of things, my instant emotions when Latif came into the game is like, how's the operation going to be? And I think we found out a little bit. The operation was not clean. The fumbled snap, which honestly, if you look at the replay, looks like that would have been a touchdown to Barney. Holgorsen even commented on that in his presser this last week. He had a couple of misreads. He had one deep ball that actually looked pretty nice. The things that I'm confident in leaving the game, he went 5 for 7. Problem is, it was for 7 yards. So what that is telling me is we've got a trend of completing very short passes, whether that's an offensive line problem, a play calling problem, or reading the defense problem. I think it's just a combination of all of them. But I think we might see bigger ups and bigger downs. With Rhule, we got to a point of consistency where we know he can complete short to mid-range passes with no problem if they are open. If you buy him time, he will pick defenses apart. But we also got to a point where we said, man, that we just never really saw consistent deep threat capability with Rhule. But that's all right. We kind of knew who he was. He wanted to take 3 seconds to throw the ball. He oftentimes took 15 seconds to throw the ball, and sometimes they were completed from his stomach, and sometimes they were just horrible decisions. But all in all, Rhule was Mr. Consistent, and we didn't really see fumbled snaps. We didn't see miscommunications on play calls. 2 years ago before he was here, God, we were running, like, our quarterback was running to the right or running backs running to the left. Like, I swear to God, Harburg, I love him. He's still on the team, and props to him for that. But goodness, the operation was just not smooth. And that was just one thing that I think we probably took for granted this year. We haven't had fumbled snaps. We had a couple bad turnovers, but we haven't had many issues getting plays into the game, except for like the times when his headset was broken. It was fairly smooth in getting plays called and running them in the way that Holgorsen, I think, wanted to. The problem on them was, I guess, just the execution of those plays and the reads. And did we hit the any deep crossers? Answer, no. So room for improvement, absolutely. But again, top 5 on the year in completion percentage, like, that's not exactly familiar territory to Nebraska fans. It's like, we can't, how picky are we really going to be here? So getting into the USC game itself, the overall positives, overall negatives, overall positives that I took from the game, loved the Black Shirts pass defense. Like, there were questions if are we really an elite pass defense going into this year, or going into this game. People doubted the performance that we had against Sorsby. We had held him to 69 yards, nice passing, and since then he has lit the world on fire. Other than their loss this last weekend, Sorsby had one interception heading into this game against Utah. We held Maeva to 9 of 23 passing for 135 yards. That's the lowest of any Lincoln Riley coached team. He's been around the block, so pretty impressive there. His average was 5.9 yards per pass. He had 0 touchdowns and 1 interception for a QBR of 72.5. Super impressive performance. He just kind of looked lost out there. He was not finding open. There were slightly open guys. Andrew Marshall held his targets to 1 of 7 on completions. He was targeted 7 times. There was 1 completion. He also had 1 interception, though, to make up for his sins, allowing 1 completion. Sierra Wright wiped Mackay Lemon, possibly the best wide receiver in the country, going into the game. Mekhi Lemon was averaging 6.9 receptions and 108 yards receiving per game. Cierre Wright made him a non-factor. I mean, pay the man, first of all. I hope NFL scouts are listening. I don't know why you'd be listening to me instead of your own brains, but if you are, Cierre Wright just shut down Mekhi Lemon. He had 2 receptions for 18 yards. 2 receptions for 18 yards, 0 touchdowns. One of Mekhi Lemon's catches was for 16 yards. So he had one for 2 yards and the other for 16 yards. That's pretty impressive. Jacoby Lane, not a bad backup. So Mekhi Lemon had 48 receptions going into the game on the season. So he's now up to 50. Jacoby Lane had 24. He was their second leading receiver. He also only had 2 catches for 22 yards. So the pass defense, this was the number 1 pass defense going into this game. And the pass defenses as it stands now, USC is now down to the 10th passing offense in the country. So impressive stuff there. On the other side for the black shirts, okay, got to stop the run, guys. Got to do it. It's not really an option anymore. It's getting to a point of like 5-alarm fire concern. This is King Miller. This was their 3rd string, former walk-on running back. I don't want to think bad, ugly thoughts about what they would have done with Wayman Jordan, I believe, is their first string running back. He was torching it up. And he was injured for this game. And they were out their second stringer. King Miller went for 18 carries, 129 yards for a 7.2 yards. 7.2 yards every time he touched the ball. For some reason, he only touched the ball 18 times. He also had a touchdown on the day. And then Maeva, where he lacked in passing, I mean, he made up for it on the ground. And this is one of my concerns going into UCLA, as it's probably, everybody's concern as well. Ella Talley commented on that as well. Remember last year when Eric Bieniemy led UCLA, embarrassed Nebraska in Memorial? We don't match well against them, but hopefully Latif can execute a game plan. Gotta watch the Laker game. See you, buddy. Goodbye. Have a good one. See you later, Ella Talley. It was nice having you while you were present for a few seconds. Ray Haysbrook, shout out to my brother. Isn't Johnson the last running back to run for over 1,000 yards since Ozigbo? That is a fact. Ding, ding, ding. Emmett Johnson did cross 1,000 yards in the game. Super impressed by that. Going to get into that as well here. But Jade Maeva killed us on the ground. Obviously a little bit worried about that after seeing what Nico did to Penn State. UCLA, not a traditional, not a great running team this year. But seeing what USC did, I don't know why you would stray from running the dang ball. UCLA is averaging 160 yards per game on the ground. And then Nico went to town against Penn State. This is when Penn State was all bad vibes, no positive vibes. Guysstore.com for positive vibes gear. Nico went to town against Penn State. They ran for 269 yards against Penn State. So can they run? The answer is yes. Will they run? Not sure. They only average around 30 rushing attempts per game. Kind of on the low side. They kind of want to let Nico sling it, but we will see on that front. Getting back to the Nebraska side of things, other impressive stats from the game that came about. Obviously, I mean, we talked about Rhule already, but Emmett Johnson is he is a dog. I had an inkling of a thought before the season. Like, they really liked who they had, and Dana Holgerson is very good at using running backs. He's great at designing targets. He's great at getting the best players' touches. And in this game and last week, Emmett just basically took the ball and said, I am about to put all of Memorial Stadium on my back, and I will die doing it. 29 carries is bananas in this day of college football where it's spread it around, sling it around the yard a little bit, spread it to different running backs. Emmett had 29 carries. The team had 40 as a whole. 3 of them were Rayola's, which one was a sack that he had his ankle snapped in half on. 2 were scrambles. Mekhi Nelson had 1. Mosey had 1. And then Latif had 6 at the very end of the game. So Emmett Johnson, of the running backs, took 29 out of 31 carries. I mean, I don't have enough positives to say about him other than this is exactly what you have him on campus for, and he absolutely deserves a second running back to give him more of a break, but we just haven't found that yet. But he is more than willing to be that guy. He still looks lively. He still looks like he's got energy. Still looks like he's churning out yards without difficulty. And he was our best weapon. USC knew it was coming, and they just could not stop him. The second positive that I saw was, our offensive line, they're getting absolutely murdered, of course, rightfully so, against Minnesota. But they came back with 2 back-to-back performances now of pretty good rushing offense. I mean, they're creating holes like crazy. Emmett is running like a man possessed. Obviously, I wanted to win, but you got to find some kind of positives. And my goodness, keep opening those holes, keep letting Emmett cook, keep getting him touches in the pass game as well. He had 2 receptions for 15 additional yards as well. So Emmett goes for 180 all-purpose yards. He is on track right now for an all Big Ten season. And I think this is one of those times when you say, okay, we're 6-3, we can't beat good teams. You might be right, but there are moments when you've got to step back and say, let's enjoy a little bit of what we have in front of us. Hunter, Johnson, watching Rhule at times has been pretty special this year. That's not just something to just, wave your hand at a little bit. They've been good. They've had electric moments. You can see the potential. You can see the possibilities if all these guys are coming back next year. We just need an O-line around them, and we need to keep on being physical and winning at the attacking up front. The other impressive solo stats that we had out there, Javen Wright, guy is like a 6-year senior and has played through a lot of medical complications. Power to him. 11 total tackles. He had 1 sack. He had a tackle for loss, a pass deflection. Stuff in the stat sheet. Love to see it from the senior leaders. Cade Petrzak. Still can't pronounce that guy's name, but Pietrzak. How do we get Petrzak from that? I'm just, I guess, ignorant of whatever language that comes from, but he had another sack as well, and a tackle for loss. He's becoming a little bit more of a reliable force on the defensive line. So great to see from a freshman. Again, Andrew Marshall, Sierra Wright, they don't show up as much in the stat sheet, but in a good way. They just shut down their whoever they were covering. Donovan Jones actually came up pretty big. He had 2 pass deflections as well. Andrew Marshall had 1, and then Deshaun Singleton, I think, as well as Vincent Shavers. Those 2 guys have taken their game up to another level. I really want to see Deshaun Singleton get drafted. I think he is. He just seems to be that type of leader that is just sound and solid and makes the plays that he needs to make. And then Vincent Shavers he's becoming an absolute dog. 2nd year, and he is just leading this defense now. I think Singleton, he's probably our best leader back in the secondary, either him or Buford. Although Buford, I am so tired of seeing him miss tackles. It is just horrifying every single time. I just wet my pants when there's a running back running toward him. But Shavers, talk about somebody with the sky is the limit potential. That's Vincent Shavers right there. He's kind of I think he could be one of the next great linebackers at Nebraska for certain. So he had a sack as well in the game, 6 total tackles. So pretty good stuff overall. Not too special of a day from the special teams. The final thing, just on USC in general, coaching. Okay, I know that there is a lot of negativity out there on Matt Rhule and how he has performed so far, especially in key and crucial moments. And I don't know entirely what to think other than there are moments when he completely overthinks situations. Um, you know, starting in the Michigan game, the end of that first half, it, there was some obvious, like, we were not prepared for this moment situation. It worked in our favor. We threw a Hail Mary to Ja'Cory Barney, and it worked. And I don't know how it worked, but it did. But the fact remains, there was clearly indecision on that sideline in, like, if we're in this situation, here's what we're going to do. Okay, when you're in 4th and 1, we need to have better plans. I think there is this. I don't know if it's him and Holgerson that aren't on the same page or what, but they're clearly fumbling with indecision. We have the ball. It's 14-6. We're winning the game. We have a chance. That 4th and 1 kicking a 52-yard field goal was, to me, just a complete lack of trust in our ability to get 1 yard. And why that would have existed is just, to me, more of a feel for the game and less of a, well, we weren't planned or we didn't have something ready. It's it's kind of a combination of both, because they got in there, they lined up. Latif was in the wrong position. So Harburg's trying to motion to him, and then there's chaos, and then they end up calling a timeout. That's when they bring out the kick team. But right before they bring out the kick team, you see Rhule on the sideline, and he is like looking around like, guys, we're kicking. And then somebody like the one of the O linemen or whoever sprints out onto the field. Like, he wasn't ready for that either. The feel for the game is more so, are we going to be the team that goes for it? Like, Oregon has developed very much an identity. Like, 4th and 1 right there, that Dan Lanning's Oregon Ducks, they are going for it, no questions asked. And that is like an identity thing. That is we're absolutely ready. We know exactly what yard line and where we're going to be going for it. And the only thing that can change that is your feel for the game. Like what moment is it? Because if it's in the waning minutes here and you're desperate for points, okay, like, I can get it, but be ready. The problem that I had with it was we called timeout, and then we're still sending a player on late who also still didn't know that we're kicking the ball. Like, if you're going to take that timeout, you come back out and you run the ball. I think that I would have understood more if it was, okay, we're very clearly trying to draw them off sides. I don't even know if we were trying to do that. I think we just didn't have the right play at the right moment, and we didn't have like the feel for the game. Like, this is a time when we are clearly going for it. We have a play ready. It's showtime. I choked. And that is where I get a little bit concerned about how this the Rhule tenure is going, because there have been several different moments this season where these short 4th down yardage situations, there's almost like there's some disagreement between him or Eckler or Holgerson, and there's just this like, yeah, do we go for it or not? Do we pass? Do we run? Like, I think we have to have that feel for the moment and say, this is a time when right away, if we get into 4th and 1 right now, we're kicking right away. if it's 4th and 2, 4th and 1, this is the play that we are doing at between these yards on the field. And the only thing to override it is situation B, which is this. And there just seems to be this like waffling and going back and forth and thinking about it when it happens instead of having a plan A, having a plan B, having a plan C ahead of time. And that's where I am. I'm struggling, and I think that Rhule himself would be the first to admit. He said after the game, "I thought we had the yards, like Eckler said we had it. 52 yards is not a chip shot for a college kicker. Are you crazy?" I mean, Cunanan is fantastic. Like he's been great all year. He has missed a couple too many field goals recently over these past couple of weeks, but he has overall been a good kicker. But 52 yards is not a chip shot for anybody, and this is not like it's a oh man we didn't draw him off sides. Let's send him in now and he'll just make it. No, this is still a bomb, and you've got to be ready to kick it, and you can't be like fire drilling out of a timeout. It has to be, we're going to try and draw them off sides. If we don't draw them off sides, I'm taking a timeout. When I take a timeout, we're kicking. That's fine. But having a confusing play call where your backup quarterback comes in and turns around and runs this like motion and then panic calls a timeout, and then your team's scrambling to get on the field after the timeout, mainly because you're just still yelling at referees and stuff too. That was a whole different situation. Like, be in the moment, have a feel for the game, have a feel for the moment, and be ready to go. And I think if we do that a little bit better, we're going to start getting a little bit more winning. Now, speaking of having a feel for the moment, TJ Lateef time. Let's talk. TJ is being thrust into the pressure cooker of Nebraska football. I mean, I think that he has been around enough now to realize that there is a microscope on you pretty much every moment that you are on the field or even on the sidelines. There have been even some like highlights when I'm like, man, I wish TJ Lateef was cheering more. And I'm sitting there like, God, why am I judging him? He's standing on the sidelines. But this is what Nebraska fans do. We overthink, we over criticize, we over everything, really. We over fan. And we're not going to stop. So, TJ, welcome to Nebraska, but also welcome home. He's going back home to play. He is from the Compton area, Orange, California. Played for Orange Lutheran. Good player in high school. Passed for over 2,000 yards. Became an Elite 11 quarterback. Like, this is one of the top 11 quarterbacks in the country coming out of high school. So it's not like he's some Joe Schmo. This is TJ Lateef coming out of California. He was high sports all-state. He completed 71.5% of his passes. He ran for over 230 yards. That was in 11 games his senior year. Question mark on him. He's at 23 touchdowns, 8 interceptions in high school football. So you'd like to see that probably a little bit higher ratio than less than 3-1. He ran for 292 rush yards, excuse me. Good news for TJ. This is the worst defense that he will face the rest of the season. When we are looking head to head here, points per game, Nebraska averages 29.8. That is 45th. UCLA averages giving up 31, which is 103rd. Yards per game, Nebraska averages 367, which is poopy at 76. But UCLA gives up 378.6, which is 67th. They also give up 0.47 opponent points per play, 0.47 points per play, which is 111th in the country. They are also the worst third down defense in the college football world, which is fantastic news for helping us keep drives alive. They give up 55.14% of the third downs go to the other team. So they are not good at getting themselves off of the field. Great news overall, I would say. The rushing defense on UCLA's side. That is what gives me, like, you've got to have some confidence here that we're going to win the game, based on that alone and what we have seen the last 2 weeks. Like Holgerson, I get it, traditionally air raid guy, but he has also had he was like Kendall Hunter back in the day with like Okie State. He has had some fantastic running backs. He can turn these guys into all-world players, and he has basically made a decision after that Minnesota game, like, okay, passing, being drop back passer, any version of the air raid, not going great. So showed a little bit of a heavier reliance on RPO. It is definitely working. You've seen it work with Barney and Hunter. He knows he wants to get the ball to Barney a little bit more, but Emmett is going to be the guy to win us. Any more games the rest of the season are basically going through Emmett first and foremost. Like stone cold guarantee that this game in particular is going to be, this could be like the Emmett Johnson legacy game. Like when you're looking back and you say, okay, you've got the end of the season, first team, all Big Ten, Emmett Johnson. I mean, first of all, imagine that. A Nebraska running back, first team, all Big Ten. You would say, yeah, we had an awfully good season. You would take that in an absolute heartbeat, just even hearing those words. UCLA averages giving up 5.2 yards per rush on the season, 121st in the country. They average, their opponents are running the ball on 57.4% of plays. That's 118th. People just run the ball at will. That is absolutely fantastic news for our rushing game. They also give up 195 rush yards per game, which is 119th in the country. That is even worse, guys. That is even worse than our rush defense, which is huge news. Everyone knows how bad our rush defense is. The whole world knows it. USC knows it. Northwestern knew it. They ran all over us. They just were like taking their dog for a walk. They just ran right in between. Off tackle, up the middle. It is ridiculous. Truly, it is ridiculous. We had some big stops, but it is like infuriating to watch such a fantastic pass defense, literally the number one pass defense in the country, go to waste this year. But I digress. Nebraska is giving up 173.9 rush yards per game. That's 98th. UCLA is giving up 195 rush yards per game. That's 119th in the country. You love to see that. You absolutely love to see that. The only other things that come to mind here in this game is our offensive line, a little bit banged up. It sounds like Pritchett might be able to come back. I think that our special teams, we're going to have an advantage in special teams. It seems like it's been that way for several weeks. I think that Latif is going to be very much, I don't want to say zone read, more so like RPO. Zone read is very easy to coach, easy to implement. I do think you'll see some of it, but the run pass option is Holgerson's bread and butter. And you've seen Rhule do it. So I have to think that when you see a rush defense as bad as UCLA's, that Holgerson shows up and says, we're going to ride Emmett, but that is going to make our RPO absolutely lethal. If Emmett is going for 5 to 7 yards per carry, make it rain. Uncork the deep ball. I want to see if Latif has just less hesitation. Rhule wanted everybody to be 5 or 10 yards open. That's what he wanted. He picked apart teams that stunk at playing pass defense. But Latif, I just want to see him play with a little more reckless abandon. And the RPO is like a perfect offense to let a true freshman kind of step in on. Like most high school quarterbacks in the country are very comfortable running any sort of zone read. And if you just add that passing element to it, I think he potentially could be lethal because his legs are so much more of a weapon. So I think that's absolutely going to be essential. The UCLA passing defense. So Nebraska is number 3 nationally, completing 73.06% of passes. UCLA is 73rd, allowing 62.6% completion rate. You love to see that. They are not terrific at intercepting the ball. They have intercepted 1.37% of passes. That's going to be 111th in the country. Now, Nebraska, an interesting stat here is also, these are just some putrid things I'm looking at right now, you guys. Nebraska has allowed quarterback sacks on 9.93% of pass plays. That is astounding. 127th in the country. This is all per teamrankings.com. UCLA, their sack percentage is 2.67%. That's 129th in the country, so not great at getting after the quarterback. Again, advantage Nebraska. The ways you beat Nebraska are you run well any which way, and you play good enough pass defense that you can get after the quarterback. That's pretty much it. Like a good pass rush from Minnesota destroyed our offense. That was it. That's all they ended up doing. They played good enough pass defense that it just gave their line time to anybody that has 3-4 seconds, they're going to get to the quarterback. If Latif does not make quick reads, that's going to be a problem. But I just think we're going to rely so heavily on the run game and Latif's legs that we're probably only going to throw 20, 25 times in this game and run it closer to 40. So I don't know that that Latif is going to be as good of a passer. I would not assume that he's going to be as good of a passer as Rhule. I would not assume that he's going to play turnover-free football. Like that absolutely should scare you going into this game. But I do think that that UCLA struggles enough to get pressure and struggles enough at stopping the run that if you were to pick any opponent this season to start Latif against, you'd say, I probably want the one with that just isn't good at either thing, really. So we'll take that. UCLA going into this season. So last year, they were the worst third down conversion percent team in Power 4. This year, it's more of the same. Last year, they had a pretty decent rushing defense, but one of the worst passing defenses in the country at 108th. They also lost a ton of production. They only returned 37% of their returning production from defense, including they lost a linebacker last year that had 136 tackles. So they are still figuring things out. Obviously, they fired their coach. Nico Iamaleava had just an insane drama, but we know what kind of talent he brings. Scary player. And on the defensive side of the ball, it's going to come down to, is Nebraska able to contain his legs? Because we know they're going to be able to run. I don't know why, but it doesn't matter who is running the ball. It literally could just be a random Make-A-Wish player from the stands. They're running for 100 yards on us. It's just going to happen. But you saw against Northwestern that we were able to contain Preston Stone with no problem there. Not really a running quarterback, so not terribly surprising. But when we did that, and when we were able to contain Aiden Childs a little bit more, their drives stalled as well. When we were able to contain Malik Washington, their drives stalled a little bit as well. It was, to me, like they're working through a lot of the same stuff here. UCLA's passing yards has been a huge predictor of their success this season. But really, it's their rushing improvement that has actually probably been the bigger predictor. The fact that they are up at in the hundreds, 160 yards rushing. So they went for 88 rushing against Indiana, 193 against Maryland, 238 against Michigan State, 269 against Penn State. But then in their first 4 games, which were all losses, and got their head coach fired very quickly, and it was looking like an 0-12 season at that point. It was a shocking turnaround. Against Northwestern, they had 29 carries for 131 yards. Against New Mexico, they only had 109 rushing yards. Against Utah, they only had 84 rushing yards. Against UNLV, they had 173 rush yards that game. But then if you compare their passing offense, they seem to have a preference for passing. But Nico is down at 1,468 pass yards. He's at 6.3 yards per attempt and 10 touchdowns to 7 interceptions. So he is having a little bit of a struggle of a year, a little bit up and down, I would say. His best games have come in pretty big moments, though, I would say. Like against Penn State, which, again, at that time, Penn State still had a head coach, which is an important thing, as it turns out, in college football. And it has not gone well for them since. Against Penn State, he was 17 of 24 for 70%, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. That is his single best percentage or completion percentage on the season. UNLV was second at 70.7%. Northwestern was third at 70.4%, but not nearly as good of defenses. Against Indiana, his last time out, so they're coming off a bye, which is always scary. He passed for 48%, season low, 13 of 27. 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. So other than that Indiana game, they ride Nico, and it is like night and day. When he passes over in all of their wins, he has passed for at least 60%. In all of their losses, they don't run the ball nearly as well. It's just they're very offensive heavy. Their defense is porous. They are bad. They are they're going to allow points, including to somebody like TJ Lateef if he can run the ball well enough. So I think that's all that I have to say. I went for longer than I realized. I'm a Nebraska fan. I think too much. I know too much. I have a burden of knowledge that I need to unload. Thank you for listening. Go Big Red. I think that there's going to be my final predictions here. UCLA's line was minus 2.5 on the game. It does feel about right. Nebraska's momentum has clearly shifted losing Rhule. Like, I get it. But UCLA, they're still UCLA this year. I can't get past the fact that New Mexico beat them 35-10. I know they're a quote unquote different team, but at the same time, you're kind of the same. You're kind of still got the same ingredients. It just tastes a little bit different these last couple weeks. They're still 3-5. I don't know. I don't get it. In all of their losses, they've put up less than 23 or less points. 6 to Indiana, 14 against Northwestern, 10 against New Mexico, 10 against Utah, 23 against UNLV. And in their wins, their offense just clicked a little bit better. They started figuring it out. I don't know. I don't get it. They fired the coaching staff, maybe I don't know. But my final thoughts are, I think Nebraska actually just, if you were going to pick the formula for Nebraska to win a game, we've kind of had to rely on crappy defenses. That's fine. We took care of business enough. It wasn't, we haven't gone scorched earth on these teams like Indiana, and apparently Kurt Signetti can just beat everybody by 50. I guess that's what great teams do. That's fine. If we're going to be considered a good team this year, I think we beat UCLA. The way we're going to do it is on the ground. We're going to use Lateef's legs. We're going to use Emmett's legs. We might even get a little Mosey action, a little Makai Nelson action. But I'm excited to see, like, is there that extra dynamic that maybe Holgerson and gets a little more excited about? Like maybe it seems a little bit more vanilla um, to you and me, but exciting in a sense that like we've got a little bit more speed on the field. We've got an additional weapon on the field. I don't know. It's exciting though. It's exciting. Let it excite you. Let the feelings get stirred up. Let the juice start flowing a little bit because I do not like the vibes that I am hearing around Husker Nation right now. And things like, oh well, the season's over. Season is not over. We have 25% of the season remaining. More than that with a bowl game. Like there's 4 games left. 4 games. You only get most years 13 games. It's time to enjoy it. Sit back and just have an absolute time. So let's do some over-unders here as well. Nico Iamaleava, his over-under on pass yards, 183.5. I mean, God, nobody's gotten like close to that. If Maeva can't hit that, let's go unders, baby. TJ Lateef, over, oh my Lord, okay. 192.5 pass yards. Don't think that's happening. I'm going under. 1.5 pass touchdowns. Okay. Let's go. I'm thinking I'm going under. I'm taking his legs though. I'm taking his legs. He's 1.3 times odds if you want to get in on a rushing or receiving touchdown. Probably not going to get a receiving one, but a rushing touchdown for Lateef. Talk to me. Emmett Johnson, his over-under is 104.5 rush yards and 130.5 rush and receiving yards. I mean, just smash that to the moon. This is like backyard. Somebody throws you the wiffle ball and you've got the Mark McGuire bat for the first time. Take the Vortex bat out and just moon balls, baby. 130.5 for Emmett Johnson is like first half effort this weekend if I'm calling plays. Granted, I am not, and I am very often wrong, so do not take this betting advice very seriously. But if anything, like, goodness, I think we are going to just give him the ball over and over again. 25 plus carries. I like to think that he gets to 135 rush plus receiving yards. He just went for 180 against USC. So let's talk. Isaiah Hunter, 58.5 receiving yards. Feels a little steep with Lateef. Again, I'm not totally sure how much we'll be passing the ball, but UCLA, a bit of a porous pass defense. UCLA's defense, keep in mind, has given up 43 points, 30 points, 35 points. Then they got on a hot streak and they gave up just 17 to Northwestern, but then they gave up 37 in a win against Penn State. They gave up only 13 to Michigan State. That one should scare you a little bit. UCLA beat Michigan State 38 to 13. And then they only gave up 17 to Maryland, and Maryland kind of torched us at times. So maybe you thought, okay, things are looking good. Indiana puts up a 56 bomb on them. I think the points are going to be there. I think the stats are going to be there. It's not going to be pretty. It will not. But I think we're going to grind our way to 24-ish points. Dane Key, 28.5 receiving yards. That he is not getting much love anymore. But, I mean, God, you would think that we could complete one pass of 30 yards to Dane Key this weekend. But and his over-under on receptions is 2.5. Rico Flores, one of their top options. His over-under is 31.5 receiving yards. Again, our secondary. Trust them until you can't trust them anymore. Like, why would you not? Javian Thomas is another one of their options here. It's not a great bet there. Quasi Gilmer, his over-under is 47.5 receiving yards. He's an up and down kind of streaky player, but he was one of their big weapons against Penn State. He went for 5 receptions for 79 yards and a touchdown against Penn State. He also went for 4 receptions, 56 yards against Maryland. So But again, 47.5 receiving yards, I think, on our defense. Like, when I would hope that we can continue to fluster Nico and just force them to run the ball all day. I like our defense to win those battles, and whoever their running back is, take the overs on their rushing yards. It's going to be the strategy to beat Nebraska the rest of the year, but this is the year it's not the year, but it's a year. And this is the time when Nebraska, I think, just has to exert its physical will, which may or may not be enough. But the coaching staff knows it. UCLA knows it. We know it. Our best weapon is Emmett Johnson. Our second best weapon is our pass defense. Like, they're the ones that can flip this game on a dime. They're the ones that can change everything in a hurry. If Nico is thrown 10 touchdowns and 7 interceptions this year, why can't we get 1 or 2 more picks and keep them off the field? I think I like us to neutralize the turnover battle a little bit. I think Latif probably is going to have an interception, maybe 2. But if we can neutralize that turnover battle and just run clock, it's about to be an old school football game. Probably not as high scoring as we thought it was going to be when it was going to be Nico versus Rayola preseason. I thought this game was going to be, 45-52 or something, but I am wrong often as it turns out. But this week I will be right. Nebraska will win. We will cover the spread at minimum. But go Big Red, and thanks for listening in. I'm sorry Dave wasn't here. Hopefully he's done crying after that loss by the time he hears this episode, and I wish him luck in his recovery from Nebraska football torture. But we're still here. We're still doing it. ShopHuskGuysStore.com. We're going to be having some cool Christmas stuff coming out in a couple of weeks, I think, depending if my brothers can get their crap together and make this happen. So HuskGuysStore.com has all of your good positive vibe needs, and this was kind of fun. It was cathartic, I guess, more than anything. But I don't know. I can only listen to myself talk for so long. So go Big Red.